I do not look at the calendar to decide when to do a spring cleaning. I take a look at the weather, and if it's consistently getting warmer, it is time. Today we are going to do a spring cleaning of my entire apartment. Now, up until this point I worked on my clean routine so that maybe a true spring cleaning might not even be necessary. So let me tell you what I actually want to get out of this. I want to explore what I can do every year as part of spring cleaning to make sure my apartment feels like spring, so fresh, light and warm. And of course we are focusing on cleaning and organization, but I want to choose such tasks to work towards that goal. Let's start. The very first step for me was listing everything that needed to be done. I used both social media such as Pinterest and YouTube to get ideas, as well as my existing cleaning to-do list to inform me what I could potentially do. I used Todoist, listed all my epic cleaning tasks, which are just tasks I do every once in a while, such as every 3 months, and looked for items I had a couple of weeks before and after the weekend of my spring cleaning. I wrote them all in one list in my bullet journal, and then it was time for the next step. I would argue this is possibly even the most important step, and that is sitting down with my husband and going over the list. We went over which items needed to be done and how each of us wanted it to look in the end, and then also who will do what and on which day. And good thing we discussed it, because originally I wanted to spread all of the tasks into a couple of days, but when we talked about it, he really preferred we push ourselves to finish the most on 2 days in the morning so we could have the rest of the day to enjoy. And that is what planning is all about. We don't do it because we like to have stuff to do, although checking things off is very satisfying. We plan to know when we need to start and how to arrange our tasks so that we get the most enjoyment out of our days. In this case, it meant waking up at a reasonable time even on the weekend and starting our cleaning ASAP so that we have the evening to do whatever we want. We didn't make a super strict plan, but we did agree what's most important to us and what we need to focus on. Let me show you. The main goal for the first day was to make sure our bed feels fresh and cozy. Now, we usually wash and change the sheets weekly, so for the spring cleaning we decided to also wash the blankets and inner pillow coverings. Thanks to our discussion and planning, we knew we had to set the previous sheets to wash the night before. Then in the morning we could move it to the dryer and put the blankets to wash, so it will all be done by 12. While the machines were doing their jobs, we were focused on doing our jobs. Our focus for day 1 was cleaning the bathroom and the kitchen, and since both of these were already in our cleaning assets, we decided to just do a bit more of a deep clean and focus on things we usually don't. But for the kitchen, a general tidy up still needed to be done. My husband is usually the one who cleans the kitchen, and this time was no different. He cleaned the counters, washed the dishes, and then cleaned the sink. There was a bit more to do there, but the dishes needed to dry first, so in the meantime he watered our plants and did a bit of gardening, then wiped the dust a bit and went to run a quick errand right after that. Meanwhile, I was focused on the bathroom and the toilet. There is quite a bit to do there, so I did end up splitting it into a couple of days, and day 1 was focused on basically everything but the shower. Now keep in mind that a bunch of things I did had a step where you have to leave it for 10 minutes to sit, so I kinda did all of these things in parallel. I would start one, let it sit, do the other in the meantime, and then come back to it. One of those things was the toilet, so I started by putting some cleaning product on the toilet and did other things while it does its magic. One of the things I always mean to do but never get the chance to is cleaning soap dispensers, and I have a bunch of them. I use them for so many things, including dishwasher soap, my shampoo and conditioner, and of course regular soap, which I have in 3 places: the kitchen, the toilet and the bathroom. The outside glass doesn't really need much cleaning, but the top always gets water on it, and therefore there is limescale on it. So I put them in some warm water with baking soda and let them sit in it for a while. Meanwhile, I cleaned the sinks the same way I always do. I was thinking about making a separate weekly cleaning reset video, so if that sounds interesting, please let me know down in the comments. With the sinks, usually what I do is I spray them with the anti-limescale cleaner, and then after a few minutes clean it with a sponge. I always finish up by wiping it with a towel we use for our hands, which then immediately goes to the washing machine. And of course I do the same thing for the toilet sink as well. Coming back to the toilet now, I clean it the same way I usually do, using the brush and then some toilet cleaning wipes for the seat. Last thing for the bathroom for that day were the soap dispensers, and all I had to do now was rinse them and put them back on. Before you ask how do you know which one goes where, well, I remember where I put it and I cleaned what was stuck in the straw anyway. Of course I had to refill some of them and then put them back in their place. One more thing I did in parallel was finish up the kitchen. I cleaned the dishwasher just a bit. We have one of those that complains when we need to run the cleaning cycle, so right now I just checked the filter, which was pretty clean, and then just wiped the top part. Then I put put away the dishes that my husband cleaned and clean the dish drying rack. Even though we clean it often since it is black, limescale can be easily seen on it. So I decided to clean it anyway. I sprayed it with the anti-limescale cleaner and left it for about 10 minutes. Cleaning the dish rack always makes the kitchen feel so cleaner so quickly. I love it so much. Once that was done, I decided to clean the drain a bit. First I cleaned the bit you can remove, and then the drain itself by pouring baking soda and white vinegar and then flushing it with hot water. When my husband came home, it was almost time to put the sheets back on. Since we didn't wash the mattress cover, at that point it was washed relatively recently, he vacuumed it up just a bit, then I gave the bed frame and side tables a quick wipe, and we finally put all the sheets and blankets back on. Now that really brought the room to life, and it truly felt like it was fresh and clean. And that was it for the first day. We spent the rest of the day enjoying the sun, riding bikes and eating ice cream. Of the other tasks, we agreed that cleaning the windows and doors was the most important, so that was the focus for day 2. My husband is usually the one to do the windows, and this time was no exception. Luckily for him, our apartment only has one window and one glass door for the balcony, but it still took him at least 30 minutes. The windows were very dirty after the winter season from all the snow and rain, so this was the perfect opportunity to clean them. In the meantime, I was cleaning the doors. Even though I only had to spray them with cleaner and wipe them, my hands got so tired by the end of it. Somehow you never really think about how many doors you have in your home until you have to clean them. And then you have 2 sides, so unfair. I tried to focus the most around handles since that was the dirtiest part, but it still took longer than I expected. Of other things we planned to do, a really detailed vacuum was high on the list, including the baseboards, under the couch, and the couch itself, and generally everywhere we usually don't. Even though our apartment is not that big, because it was so detailed, it took quite a while. Of course, it wouldn't be a proper cleaning of the floors without mopping it with nice, fresh lavender cleaner. My focus after the doors was finishing up the bathroom, but before I could do that, I had to clean the trash can. Every once in a while I like to just put it in the shower and wash it whole. I of course let it sit there with some baking soda for a couple of minutes, and in the meantime I decided to wipe the towel radiator. I wipe this every once in a while and just use one of the towels that needs to be washed anyway. I gave the trash can a good scrub, and once it was drying on our balcony, I could start on the shower. I usually dread this one so much, but today I was determined to clean it thoroughly. I took everything out and sprayed it with anti-limescale cleaner. Then it was time for the drain. I took all of the parts that I can and put them in some warm water with baking soda while I tried my best to get all the hair out. Guys, there was so much hair. I don't even know how it got there or how it got so stuck. I'm going to spare you the most disgusting parts, but know that I got most of it out. Then I put some baking soda, vinegar, and press it down with a towel to make sure the reaction cleans the drain. I cleaned them a bit more and rinsed them, and then put it back on. Then it was time for the glass doors. I sprayed a bit of the cleaner on them and then gave them all a good rinse. Once I was fine with how the inside looked, I put all of our items back on the rack. Now it was time to clean the outside of the glass door, but I was so tired I called my husband to help me out. Together it went so much faster, and we finished the cleaning in a couple of minutes. I will be honest, there were still a couple of items on our list, but at this point the apartment felt really nice and fresh, and we really wanted to enjoy the sunny weather, so this is where we stopped for the day. Now I will go over a couple of items that were part of the spring cleaning but just did not happen on those 2 days. I wiped all of our lamps, including this little nightlight that I never cleaned before. We gave our coffee machines a nice wipe as well. We cleaned the stove, which was not even that hard. Not sure why we procrastinated that one so long. We cleaned the washing machine and the dryer a bit, and I even vacuumed our shoe rack a little bit. Last thing I wanted to mention is the clothes. It truly isn't a spring cleaning unless you put your winter clothes away and take out your summer clothes. Now, I have already put away some of the really thick sweaters, but it has really been super warm lately, reaching summer temperatures, so I decided to take out my summer clothes and sort through them. Maybe I need to do a separate video about my clothes and how I store them and organize them, but at this point I was just looking for stuff that needs to be donated or replaced, and also for things I feel like I'm missing in my wardrobe. After I took a good look, I set it to wash and then did a similar thing with the winter clothes that I then put away. with a clean and fresh home, with the summer clothes in the wardrobe. It really feels so amazing. For the next year I definitely want to repeat at least some of this. Windows and doors, detailed vacuuming, and deep cleaning the bathroom was definitely needed. I also want to include some decluttering and organizing, but since this year we're still new to the apartment, it's not really needed yet, it's still in good shape. We still don't have much decoration, but I feel it would be really fun to change decoration as part of the spring cleaning as well. If you want to see that or more videos like this in the future, pray to the YouTube gods that the algorithm shows them to you, or you can subscribe to make sure that happens. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I really hope to see you in my next one. Bye bye! Look at the calendar because I went to do a spring cleaning. Spring cleaning. Lavender. Weekly cleaning. Now that really brought the loom to right. Wow. Washing clean. Tea lambskin, and really to the days to also have to do. I'm overthinking it, but I'm so annoyed. How I organize them, at least 3 to 3 minutes. windows were, and then you have two sides got stacked, things. I also want to include some deorganizing. Wow.